Okay, so now a couple of questions from The Walking Dead. A couple are answered. Now, we found out that most of us had speculated that indeed Bob was bitten, and he reveals that to Gareth and his troops when they're eating him, which infuriates and scares most of them as you see them spit the food, spit his leg out. But Gareth is kind of very calm about it. It's like, hey, we cooked it. We're good. We're fine. Calm down. As they have a schoolhouse filled of walkers, they're living next to it right then. But then, and we also see that, once again, what most of us already figured out, that Father Gabriel was hiding something, and it was his guilt that he locked the doors, that he wasn't allowing the people, his parishioners, in, and allowed them to get ripped apart and eventually die and become walkers. But then, as we see, and it's revealed to Bob, and Bob, as when he's dropped off in the church and they find him, Gareth's plan is to take over the church and to kill Rick and kill all of them, especially the gray-haired lady, as he calls Carol, and the archer. And as Bob is like in the back, waiting to die, you know. So then I guess what really becomes of it is what ends up happening. Like, Rick and some go out. They're going to go to the school. And they're going to take care of Gareth and Martin and the rest of the Terminus crew, who eventually end up hiding out, waiting for them to leave so they can go ahead and they know who's left. They said they've been watching them. They know who's left, but they're hiding. And then, just when they're about to do some harm to the people, Rick and the troops come back. But then it's kind of odd because Gareth is like, kind of tries to bargain with them. It's like, hey, we're sorry, we'll leave. We were good, but we did all this for reasons. But if you let us live, we'll leave, and we won't cross paths anymore. But obviously, Rick could not chance it. He had to do it because he had his chance to kill the governor and he let the governor live, and it turned out to backfire. So they had to annihilate them. They had to get rid of them. So then the question becomes, the big question, I think a lot of people are focusing on, ooh, who's that with Daryl? I mean, it's pretty much, it's going to be Carol and it's going to be Beth. But why is Abraham the only one who can solve this problem? And why did they need to take Maggie and Glenn with them to DC? So it's going to be interesting to see. I'm trying to get answers to that. It's going to be interesting to see what happened to Beth. I think they found her, and that's who's hiding. She's probably in a weakened state, and Carol's helping her. That's probably who's hiding out in the woods. I'll be floored to see if it's also, let's say, by any chance, Maggie and Glenn and Abraham. But probably the most, probably the best line of the night was the dream sequence that Bob was having when he's talking to Rick, you know the world's going to change. You can't look at Judith and say the world's not going to change. And he's right. This nightmare is going to end. But nightmares end, but they don't have to end who you are. Which is going back to telling Rick that deep down you're still a decent person. Don't ever lose sight of that. That you're a decent person. That you're doing this because you have to, but you are that decent person, and he has to go back and be that decent person, especially at the end of the world. And then it's also what was written on the map. You know, sorry for being an asshole, but you need to come to DC because the world's going to need Rick Grimes. The new world's going to need Rick Grimes. So we're going to see what happens in the rest of this season. It's really 3 really good episodes. They've been brutal. They've been insightful. They've been heartbreaking at times. And we'll see what happens.